Deep in Neverland, there is a magical place called Pixie Hollow, home to fairies. These tiny, winged beings live in harmony with nature, helping the seasons change and keeping the natural world balanced. Among these fairies is a particularly curious and adventurous one named Tinker Bell. Tinker Bell was born from a baby's first laugh, just like all fairies, and the laugh was carried on the wind to Pixie Hollow. When she first arrived, the other fairies gathered around to see what kind of talent she had. Every fairy is born with a special gift, and Tinker Bell quickly learned she was a Tinker Fairy, one who fixes and builds things. Tinker Bell made new friends in Pixie Hollow, including Mist, a water fairy, Rosetta, a garden fairy, Iridessa, a light fairy, and Fawn, an animal fairy. They all had their own unique talents. Tinker Bell was introduced to the world of Tinkers by Fairy Mary, the head of the Tinker Fairies. She taught Tinker Bell how to repair tools, build inventions, and create gadgets to help the other fairies with their tasks. At first, Tinker Bell was unsure about her talent, wishing she could do something more glamorous. Fairy Mary showed Tinker Bell just how important Tinkers were to Pixie Hollow. Eager to prove herself, Tinker Bell began working on her first invention, a machine that would make it easier for the fairies to carry dewdrops. She worked day and night, putting all her creativity into the project. However, when she tested it, the machine fell apart, leaving her frustrated. After her invention failed, Tinker Bell started doubting her abilities as a tinker. She looked at her friends with envy. Determined to find a new talent, Tinker Bell decided to try out the skills of the other fairies. She visited Rosetta and tried to help her with the flowers, but her touch was too rough. She spent time with Mist, but couldn't control the water. After several failed attempts to switch talents, Tinker Bell became more frustrated. She felt that being a tinker wasn't special enough and wanted to be more like her friends. She even considered giving up on being a fairy altogether. One day, Tinker Bell met Terence, a dustkeeper fairy responsible for distributing pixie dust, which allows the fairies to fly. Terence was kind and supportive, and he encouraged Tinker Bell to embrace her talents as a tinker. Inspired by Terence's words, Tinker Bell decided to put her tinkering skills to good use. She realized that she didn't need to change her talent. She just needed to find a way to make it work in a way that made her happy. In Pixie Hollow, the fairies were preparing for the arrival of spring. Every fairy had a role to play in bringing the season to life. The Tinker Fairies were responsible for making tools to help with the preparations. While working on her tinkering projects, Tinker Bell made a surprising discovery: a set of old, rusty tools that had been forgotten in the back of the workshop. She saw potential in them and decided to fix them up to help with the spring preparations. Tinker Bell worked tirelessly to repair the old tools, using all her tinkering skills and creativity. She redesigned them, making them more efficient and easier to use. She even added a few new features that she thought would be helpful for the other fairies. Excited about her new inventions, Tinker Bell presented them to Fairy Mary and the other fairies. They were amazed by the ingenuity of her designs and praised her for her hard work. Tinker Bell finally felt proud of her talent as a tinker.